Hello everyone and welcome back to the Academies. So today we're going to be talking about engagement assessment. I am Tere, MCVP TM of ISEC in Poland, and I welcome you to this part. So first of all, it's important for you to understand that the engagement assessment is relevant for operations because without engagement, people won't perform. And it's relevant for you, for your talent, because while feeling engaged, they are also more satisfied from the experience. So let's start with some suggestions that we have for you when it comes to making the engagement assessment. So first of all, make sure your LC members are filling the engagement assessment, whether it's the global or national one, or even local one if you have one. Then the assessment also needs to be aligned to the timeline and the team phases that you're going through, because the kind of data that you are getting in the various phases can vary. Then make the report of the engagement assessment overall for the LCM per team with the results, the inferences taken from the data, and the ways forward. And if you wonder how, you can go and check the slides later on. Then elaborate the action plan to work on the membership engagement and have clear steps when you're doing this. So the questions for yourself should be, do you have the clarity on the assessment flow? Do you have clarity on the purpose, on the target? Do you know what insights you can get from the data? Then we go on to your EB. Does your EB understand the role of the engagement assessment and how to capitalize on it together? Do we have a routine to review it after everyone filled it? And then we go on for your LC. Is your LC aware of the assessment and that they need to fill it cyclically? Are they educated on the questions and have clarity on what is being asked of them? If not, for example, you can make a video for them to understand the various phases of the engagement assessment. Do they understand its role and can they see results changes after providing feedbacks, so that we are not just giving an assessment just for them to feel, but we're actually implementing something. We must have an action plan after every time, and it must be visible for the people in the LC. Then, regarding the survey, are the questions aligned with the timeline of TM processes and team standards that you are working with? Then, are the questions specific and clear, so to provide valuable data? And do you know how to give feedback about the assessment in case you believe it's needed? So these questions are up to you to answer. I hope you're gonna answer yes to all of them. And now we go step by step what actually we should consider when. So first of all, why to engage your membership? Second, the engagement assessment, and third, the engagement assessment tool. So why to engage your membership? Employees engagement is a fundamental concept in the effort to describe both qualitatively and quantitatively the nature of the relationship between an organization and its employees. An engaged employees is defined as one who is fully absorbed by or enthusiastic about their work and so takes positive action to further their organization's reputation and interests. An engaged employee has a positive attitude towards the organization and its values. So by establishing the engagement as a TM process, we aim to make sure that our members become more engaged to take positive action towards ISEC and achieve both their personal goals and ISEC's goals. So this is very important for you to understand why we engage our membership, because we want their goals and ISEC goals in the end to match, and we want to make sure that people are performing not because they're forced, but because they want to. Then the engagement assessment. Okay, so let's go through it. The member engagement assessment should reveal at different points of time in the team experience strengths and opportunities for improvement. Our members answer questions that inform TM and the team leaders in general so that they can take action on whichever feedback they may be providing. The objective of this process is to turn intangible aspects of the experience into clear action to organizational goals. The member engagement assessment survey tool is designed to be realized according to the team phases: building, performing, closing, or exit. In all surveys, the members also receive a self-assessment to understand if they're also doing their part into making their ISEC experience great. So we need to make sure that they are engaged with the blue code and that we are satisfied with the team standards. So basically, that our survey, that our engagement assessment is related to the phases that the team goes through. Then the engagement assessment tool is this one. There is the link here, and you can try to check it so that you can understand what should be inside the engagement assessment, what should not be inside the engagement assessment, and so on. So you have all the content here. And then we go past to how to implement the engagement assessment. So first of all, I want you to understand what is the way that we infer from answers. So it's not enough just to have the data, of course. We need to make sure that we are getting something out of this data. And this is not something that you should do alone, but you should do together with your EB. So the inference equation that makes you make sure that you are getting something out of the data that you have is this one. So you have the survey's answer and you have background knowledge. So if you understand what the survey answers are telling you based on the percentages that they're having, and also you have a background knowledge that you know about your LC, you are able to make an inference regarding these things. So it's not only about sending the surveys to your member, but also understanding what is behind the answers. I will make an example. So, for example, your retention rate in the LC is low, but in OGV, you have 90%, 95%, which is really, really good. And in IGV, you have 45%, which is really, really bad on the other side. So you need to understand why this is like this. And your engagement survey may really, really help you in this. So you need to understand, first of all, in the answers, what are the things that are influencing this. So an example of thing that you may find out is that the team standards are way lower in IGV compared to OGV. And then you have background knowledge. So with the VPs of the areas, you can discuss about the data, you can discuss about the things that are happening in the areas. And if you make some questions about it, if you are actually checking what are the things that are going on, you may understand that, not only the quantity of the team standards, but also the quality of the team standards is lower in IGV. And there may be also other things that you can get out of that. So, for example, the team leader is not very engaged. And this is something that maybe you are getting out of this, but you can also know based on your VP's experience. And then based on this, what you are getting out of it is that you're understanding that the team standards here is the problem. So now it's time to create an action plan based on that. So now we're gonna talk about making an action plan and creating a report. So it's very important for you, again, to understand that you can involve your whole EB, and you should involve your whole EB, and also the team leaders if you want, since the beginning, or even a bit later if you want to filter some information with your EB first. You need to analyze together with them what are the things that the engagement survey is saying, and then take out some conclusion and create an action plan with them, because they are the people that most likely are going to implement most of the action plan. So here is what the report should look like after you discuss with your EBs, you understood what are the action steps that you're going to take. So it should include the survey's answer, it should include the engagement inferences. So what we were talking about, what are the things that you can get out of the data, but also out of the general knowledge that you have of the LC. And then you should make some call to actions. You should make sure that in your report also the way forward is included. Then, this is an example of how you can report on the data, so how you can analyze the data. This doesn't have, this is the way that it was analyzed, the engagement survey report of 2019 quarter 3, and this is like the global engagement survey, which is something that you may or may not be using in your entity, based also on the fact that you may or may not have a national engagement survey. So these are some screenshots are as they would be in your LC, because in your LC you're actually able to understand each situation. So that's very important for you to know. Then we also have follow-up meeting. What is the follow-up meeting? Basically, the follow-up meeting is not is to make sure that these things that you found out or that you talked about is something that you're continuing to talk about with your EB and team leaders body. So you need to make sure that everyone is on board with the things that are happening and with the things that that need to change. And if they hadn't seen it before, maybe you need to make sure that everyone is on board on what are the burning issues that there are right now in your LC and how you can make sure to change them. Here you have some tips that you can use for understanding how to follow up on the engagement surveys report. And finally, you have the action plan and follow-up. There is a checklist here of things that you can take as suggestions for you to do the action plan and follow-up. So first of all, create an action plan with the team leaders, as we were saying, to make sure that they are gonna take part in fixing whichever issue that you may be facing, and follow up with the team leaders in order to track the execution of the action plan. The action plan will not work if you are not following up on it. So whichever thing you decide with your team leaders, make sure that it's specific, that you're giving deadlines, that you're giving final responsible for it, that you're giving in general a timeline of what are the steps that they should be doing, and make sure that they know what are the things that they are supposed to do. If you have that, and then if you track them on this, if you ask them every time that there is that they're getting closer to a deadline, whether they're doing it, they have done it or not, then your action plan is gonna be just fine, and your issues will be solved. Or if not, you can create another action plan to make sure that the issue is solved. So yes, this is regarding that. And then this is regarding the fact that TM engages them from entry to exit. So members engagement is something that we start to do at the very beginning when a person gets inside the organization, and that we finish to do after the person has left the organization. Why? Because we need to make sure that we are engaging people not only in certain moments in which we particularly need them, but always, because this must be a constant thing. So you have here some points that you can consider regarding the members' engagement. For example, a strong induction, training and development, certification programs, and as well communications activities, rewarding recognitions. This is during the experience, team standards, performance management, leadership development activities, and all of this. Other suggestions that we have here is regarding the communication activities that we were saying. The the rewards that you may be giving to your members regarding the activities for leadership development, regarding team building activities. So you can check this out, and you can also share with your team leaders. It may be something that is very important for them to understand how to engage their membership. And finally, thank you for reading. I hope that you enjoyed and you understood more about engagement assessment. And I wish you a very nice day. Bye.